I'd now like to invite up on the stage Jamie McInally. Jamie is the CEO of Autoenhance, and he's going to talk about how generative AI is unlocking value for real estate marketplaces. Jamie, over to you.
All right, so I'm sure many of you have spent plenty of time looking at property images. They're all competing for our attention to present a property in its best light. Blue skies and bright interiors to sell the dream of a new home. I want to focus on visual content, and to kick things off, I've got a little challenge. So I'm going to show you all 3 original property images. Each image has been enhanced by a human editor and an AI editor. All I want you to do is make a note of which image you prefer, and at the end, I'm going to show you which image is which. So let's kick things off with this first image. Have a good look, and then I'm going to show you it edited in 2 different styles. So here we have edit 1. So just take a note of edit 1. They've all got different numbers. And here is edit 2. Am I in the way of the numbers, or is it everyone can see it? Here we've got a nice living room somewhere in the US. Edit 3. Or edit 4. And finally, we have this dining room. Edit 5. Or edit 6. So has everyone taken note of which edit they prefer? Okay, so I can now reveal that edits 1, 4, and 5 were all enhanced by human editors. But edits 2, 3, and 6 were all enhanced by AI. In fact, the AI that we use to edit these images is the latest AI we've developed at Autoenhance. But what's the point in this challenge? Does it prove that AI is better than humans at editing photos? Not necessarily. The reason for this challenge is to show the incredible progress that AI has made in recent years. With the latest developments in generative AI, we're now able to enhance photos that look as good, if not better, than human editors. And even better, all the AI photos took seconds. We had to wait 12 hours at least to get these human edits back. But what's the point in enhancing images? Why can't we list a property without editing the photos? It'd be so much quicker. Well, let's think about this scenario. It's a beautiful summer's day, and your neighbor is getting their photos taken of their property. It couldn't be better lighting. And your property was taken on a typical UK summer's day. Grey, overcast, and if you're lucky, raining. Well, according to Redfin, Airbnb, and the National Association of Realtors, your neighbor's property images are going to perform better than yours. So the reason we edit these photos is to make the property look as good as it can, leveling the playing field. Now, photo enhancement is just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to visual content. What if a property hasn't been built? Or what if there's no furnishings? Or maybe the furnishings just don't look great in a property? Even seemingly simple tasks like removing this car or toys and toiletries require the expertise of a photo editor to meticulously select the object, remove them, and in-paint the missing areas. Now, none of these services is anything new. Many popular outsourcing service providers have been offering these for years, but they're time-consuming. We mentioned earlier the photo enhancement took 12 hours and cost over $1 per image. Virtual staging can cost $24 per image with a 48-hour turnaround time. And 3D renders can be as expensive as $300 per image. With minimum wages increasing, we're going to see a decline in the supply of editors. And all at the same time, more properties are being listed than ever, with more photos than ever. So we need a scalable solution that's going to give the end user more control of their image content. Now, generative AI is a bit of a buzzword. You may be more familiar with one of its most famous forms, ChatGPT. We even mentioned it a few times earlier today. You may have even interacted with ChatGPT without realizing it. Maybe some people have created their presentations with ChatGPT, who knows? But just as ChatGPT is the master of generating text responses, there's a number of generative AIs being developed that are going to revolutionize visual content. From art and music to image and video content, generative AI is breaking new ground and changing the way we're generating all of this content. So I showed you earlier what we're doing at Autoenhance, and we're taking the photos that you've captured and making them look like they were shot on the best day of summer. But what if a property isn't furnished? Well, Interiors AI is an AI-powered virtual staging tool that allows you to generate these images you see here, any interior you want, in just a matter of clicks. And even better, it takes seconds to generate these interiors, not days. And even better, you can play with different styles. But what if a property hasn't been built yet? At the moment, we're reliant on 3D artists to turn ideas into 3D renders. And there's a lot of back and forth to make sure the images look as good as they can. Well, Stable Diffusion is another example of an AI tool that turns text prompts into images. These 3 images you see here are generated in seconds. And any of you can go online now and create whatever property you want. You could even send it off to an architect and they could build, you could end up with that property to live in. Now, building AI that can compete with human editors isn't easy. Back in 2020, our sky replacements looked like this. Not very good. But after 18 months of hard work, increasing our data sets and refining our processes, we were able to generate sky replacements like you see on the right. 18 months may seem like a short period of time, but this world of generative AI is changing rapidly. For example, DALL-E 1, which is another example of stable diffusion where you can provide a text prompt and generate an image, was creating results like you see on the left. This Thai villa near the beach has created quite an abstract approach. But in just 12 short months, they were able to create DALL-E 2, again, increasing their data sets and refining their processing, and now we're getting results that look like this. Super realistic. So what I'm trying to show here is that this world of generative AI is advancing rapidly. Whereas a few years ago, we were behind what human editors could do, we're now at the same level, and if not surpassing. And this gap is only going to increase as we collect more data, refine our models, and there's more research in AI. With the latest innovations in generative AI, we're now able to offer high dynamic range and 360 versions of our service for enhancing images. And with Stable Diffusion, we're looking into ways to offer virtual staging and data dust services. And as AI is getting more miniaturized, we're seeing all of this technology come to the mobile platform. So now you're not reliant on huge servers to process your images. It can be all done on your phone. Now, traditionally, we've always let it down to the agents to edit their photos. But what I'm showing here is that generative AI has the power to give portals and CRMs the ability to edit their photos. And we've partnered with a number of portals and CRMs, including On the Market, Street, RentSync, and Lazudi, to offer AI-powered photo editing. And we're seeing increased conversions, better user experience, and increased customer satisfaction. Perhaps this is something you can look into as well. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and if you want to learn more about AI photo editing, come and catch me outside. Thank you very much.
Jamie, thanks for that. If we could bring up some questions, that'd be fantastic. My first question to you is, what's the moral implications of this, right? Because you're taking something that may or may not be real, you're making it even less real to sell it to someone who's going to have to live in England. So here you are selling a beautiful sunny day in England that doesn't exist, right? So what's the implications of this?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a blurred line, but I think the important thing that's been around for a long time is making sure that you're not manipulating images too far. So if there is a power station behind a property and you're removing it when you enhance the photos, that's lying to the customer. So the important thing is just showing the property in its best light. So that's why we always use the analogy of making photos look like they were shot on the best day of summer. So I think that's really important. And I think with these AIs like Stable Diffusion for redecorating rooms, it's really important that the structure of the room remains the same, but the idea of the furnishings is generated by AI, because that's the whole point. You're trying to give the potential buyer an idea of what it's like to live in this new property.
So if we were then to take this further, I mean, and I was sitting there thinking, and we chatted the other day when you were in Australia, and I was thinking, could you actually upload images of a house that it is today? And then as I go through and explore this house and I like it, I could then have almost like a chat GPT or a DALL-E 2 type interface and say, show me this house, but with some sort of change to it.
Yeah.
And it will then auto-generate on the spot the house with the change, or show me the outside of the house but adding a second floor, or change the interior, or knock this wall out and so on. Do you think we get to that point where we can almost future project renovations and modifications?
Yeah, so I've actually been shown an example in the last few days where you can type in that. So the example I saw was an exterior, so a garden, and the user typed in that they wanted a pool in where the garden was, and the AI put it in. So I think we might be there. Whether it is completely convincing, not too sure, but the whole point is to show that the more data we're getting and the more that processes are being refined, the results are just going to get better and better.
Okay, so the question here is, how is GPT-4 going to change things for generative AI?
Yeah, so there's a lot of talk about GPT-4 at the moment.
So what is it?
Yeah, so GPT stands for General Pre-trained Transformer. So this is what is the backbone of ChatGPT, GPT-3, even in DALL-E 1 and DALL-E 2. So the remarkable thing from GPT-2 to GPT-3 is that the size of the network is 100 times bigger in GPT-3 than it was in GPT-2. But even after OpenAI trained that for weeks, they could still see that there was more for the AI to learn. And as we've seen with ChatGPT, it doesn't always get it right. So there's a lot of talk about what's this next version of GPT going to be, GPT-4, which apparently they're proactively working on. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of people saying it's going to be 100 times bigger. You'll be able to type in a few words, and it will generate a whole book off the back of it. But there is nothing concrete just yet.
So when do we as humans become irrelevant? Because if you're only putting 2 words in, or 3 words in, or a sentence in, and they're generating a book, what's the point?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think, if anyone's interacted with ChatGPT, it can do a lot of the work for you, but it's not perfect. So you're having to go back in and refine it. It helps a lot with writer's block. You want to write an article or something, you can just ask ChatGPT to come up with the idea, and then you refine it.
Yes.
And I think that's the way it's going to work.
Another one of my businesses, we do that. It's cheaper, for sure. What are the business model portals have worked on that with you that are most successful? Monetization of this great technology.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is going into more of the sales pitch, but it's the way that we market our product is you're paying per image and you're paying for a volume, but depending on different ways we've integrated our services, like working with On The Market in the UK, it's more working on fixed fees that work with how they're distributing the product to their customers. So, it's just working on a model that works with their model to make sure they're getting the best photos possible.
Yep. I think the first 2 questions are very much the same theme as I was getting at before, which is about authenticity and honesty, and that incredibly dangerous line that exists between that and misrepresentation. Now, the problem we've got is we've got a real estate industry with real estate agents who are sales guys, right? So if you open up this technology to them and you allow them to take images and go crazy with them, aren't you afraid that you're going to end up with the portals littered with basically misrepresentation? Because agents are clearly going to push the boundaries in this process.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's it's a really new ground at the moment. So I think it's really important with any of these tools that are coming out that they are tested and made sure that they're not given the free reins completely, and perhaps some guidelines as well to make sure they're not abusing it. But it's a tough one to navigate.
This is where I think the really interesting question comes in. Is you talked before about uploading a picture, typing in, insert pool, right?
Yeah.
And bang, the image has changed and now a pool's sitting in there. What's to stop an agent going, you know what, I'm going to upload that image because even if it's not true, I'm going to get someone who's interested in it and then I'm going to switch them to another property.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Or I'll tell them that it's been sold or something. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
When you've got agents around the world who are advertising properties they don't even have mandates for.
Yeah.
Okay? In many countries where you don't have sole agency. So I do think this opens up quite Pandora's box.
Yeah.
And then the question is, where's the obligation going to lie? Is it going to lie with the agent? Is it going to lie with the portal? Okay? Going to lie with you guys? Well, probably not because we're just providing the tools. But I think there is a real issue here that's going to emerge in the marketing of property.
I think we spoke about this when I was in Melbourne, but with this more of manipulation and showing properties what they could be for you, I think it's important to show the property image in its good light, as it is, furnished as it is, and then an option to see it as you could have it. So with your own furnishings or potential furnishings for the property. So potentially that'd have to be something on the portal side or the agent side.
Because as this technology becomes more readily available, I go take a picture of a house, upload it, then I start playing with it. I can then download the answer and then upload that to a portal as my image.
Yeah.
And that takes everyone out of the process. My whole point is we're opening a very interesting doorway here.
Yeah.
That it's the law of unintended consequences. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
About what could happen in this.
Yeah, and I think we've seen that with deep fakes as well, which was a huge thing 2 years ago and it just become more popular. There was all these ideas of, what if I watch a movie and the actor's in it and hasn't done any of the filming because they've just done a deep fake of that actor? Or what if there's fake news with, I don't know, some politician talking rubbish and it was all generated by AI? Well, there was actually other AIs that are being used to analyze deep fakes and work out if they are deep fakes. And it's a bit like the ChatGPT example, using AIs to analyze homework from students to check if it was done by ChatGPT. And perhaps that's something that can be done
So a portal would have to implement technology to check that the image that's uploaded is legitimate.
I guess if it becomes a real problem, yeah. But it's new ground for sure.
Right. So it's going to be, but then that creates opportunity for you.
Exactly.
Right.
Sell another product.
Right. But I assume, do you embed into the images some meta text that says this has been, automatically generated or enhanced or something?
Yeah. So there's a technique that we use within the pixels as a sort of copywriting. And I know ChatGPT, I think maybe with DALL-E 2 they've done this as well. So looking at the image, you couldn't tell if it's been encrypted or has a key on it. But if you dive into the data of the image, you can actually work out if it's got that copyright symbol in it. Okay. So perhaps that's something else.
Okay. What conversion rate changes do you see? So as you put up images using, have you done any now A/B testing, right?
Yeah.
Old image, new image, more leads, less leads.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of our customers we launched with back in the start of 2022, when we launched the product, we thought we'd get a 40% uptake from agents using the platform, using the AI. And in the first week of launching it, we had 85% of their agents using the AI to edit their photos. So it's, I think it's really exciting. The fact that they get the instant gratification is something new for them, and it's allowing them to list the properties quicker.
Okay. And in terms of, but I think in the conversion rates here, it's not the take up by the agents of using it.
Yeah.
It's the click-through rates
Viewing
on the
properties.
images. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Are they getting higher conversion, generating more leads, and thus creating more value for the advertiser?
Yeah, so one of our integrations with On The Market has been testing, A/B testing, with the AI images and without the AI images. So we're seeing about a 60% increase with the AI images over not using the AI images.
Okay. Jamie, thank you very much. I like what you
Excellent.
guys are doing, and it's a glimpse into the
Thanks so
future.
much.
Thank you.